So the new Midnight Alpha reveals a ton of new information, and finally this guy is actually showing his true face, and we are fighting a brand new evil Light faction. We've known for a while that the Light is definitely not all good, as we know Uriel took over Alternate Draenor after we left. Also, this Lotraxian Dreadlord guy has always been super suspicious, and Shadowlands sort of soft confirmed that this guy is a complete plant of Denatrius that will be activated at any point. It appears that Denatrius may have finally activated him, and this new Evil Light faction is not just a new bandit group, but likely a part of a larger cosmological ploy that might not only bring in Denatrius, but it may also show us the true face of the Light that they had foreshadowed for so long. So what is all this information, and what is everything we currently know? While having the best deals on the market for all games and software, Gamivo just added mobile top-ups for your favorite mobile games with the best prices that you can get with my Gamivo link in the description below. Best of all, if you use my code DORON, your discount will be even bigger, so make sure to use my link in the description and the code and check out Gamivo. A little bit of an exaggeration, but a big plot point is finally happening. I'm talking a plot point all the way back from Legion, and also one of the biggest speculations we've had for the longest time. So just 2 days back we had this big deep dive and reveals from Midnight Alpha, and we learned a whole lot of things. Keep in mind, I'm writing this pretty much immediately after it was announced, so the information is super limited right now, but at the same time very shocking as well and intriguing. It turns out that a portion of the Light is indeed going evil, and we will be fighting the Light as well as the Void. There is a new faction called the Light Blinded, as we had learned from the journals, and it appears that one of the main guys of this faction is Lotraxian, the guy we've been talking about for years and years and years. Now, for some of the early footage, we can discover that it appears Arati, High Elves, even Draenei are a part of this new evil faction of the Light, and it also appears that this is a section from the Army of the Light back from Legion, very likely from the guys that arrived in the Midnight Announcement cinematic. Blizzard did actually hint even during the announcement that the Light is not going to be all good and that some are not going to be thrilled at being summoned, but at the moment it is hard to predict. However, the betrayal of Lotraxian has been foreshadowed for such a long time that I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier. From what we've discovered in the alpha, he's actually one of the bosses in later instances as we go towards the Sunwell, and we will finally fight this guy. Now, if you may remember, this was an anomaly, a Dreadlord that went good because 10 out of 10 times they're doing something evil or just manipulating someone. We never really trusted him, but he had proved himself to us countless times that he was fully cleansed. Apparently, it is very hard to actually infiltrate the Light and to lie to them, so as they can like appear into your soul, so you can't really outright lie. We actually know Denatrius in ancient past tried to infiltrate him, but as his cover was blown, Denaru invaded Revendreth and created the ruin that you had seen back in the Shadowlands, pretty much permanently damaging a section of his realm. So a Dreadlord going good seemed so weird, but we kinda accepted this over time. Then Shadowlands happened and we discovered this book and his cover was pretty much blown, but this was always like a hint. People were saying maybe this is not referring to him, maybe this is some history or maybe this is some other character. In Revendreth, we discovered a book called Enemy Infiltration Preface that told us about the crazy achievements and reports of Denatrius's agents as well as their exploits. We read about the various realms they had infiltrated, even our own that we are yet to discover, and this is a different plot point, but then they said something about the Light. They told us that the Naru are similar to the Titans in a way that they're very linear, they believe only one path, and this pathway was pretty much perfect for their infiltration. They told us that the Light likes nothing more than to be proved right, and if they truly believe one of their own was fully converted, they will trust that agent implicitly. Pretty much everyone at that time knew this was 99.99% referring to Lotraxian, because it's not only the only Dreadlord that we have seen in the Army of the Light, but he also went out of his way to prove to us that he is now a good guy. So lo and behold, the sleeper agent finally awakens. Now, this here makes a few really interesting implications. It's not only that there is now an evil force of the Light doing whatnot, but it may be that Denatrius had activated him and now he's doing his thing through this evil Light force. Pretty much how Denatrius had turned the Burning Legion to his own goals, he may be doing that for the Light in this massive struggle that is currently happening in Midnight on Azeroth. Now, some spoilers here, actually massive spoilers, and I'll make a video on this, multiple videos, but this battle on Azeroth is actually a really big deal. Sunwell has been turned into the Darkveld. We learned that Demencius was in fact the last remaining Void Lord, which means that Xel'Dad is now the true villain of the Void. So she's not only just gathering another world, this is literally a battle for survival of the universe. It's very likely the entire Light Realm is going to come to Azeroth, the Prime Narrow and everything. So this is not just another expedition on our planet, this is the battle. So Lothraxion is probably doing something bigger here that we can't see yet. It's very likely that he created a faction within the Army of the Light, and it's unlikely this is just a couple bandits doing a side thing. It's very likely an orchestrated plan coming together with all the Natrazim infrastructure as well as the Natrius's oversight. The faction is also mysteriously enough called the Light Blinded, which kind of implies a few things. It implies that they're full-on Light fanatics, probably believing in a different path than the rest of the Army of the Light does. Maybe they don't want to save us from the Void, but instead they want to consume us, similar to how Yrel consumed Alter and Draenor and they took over the planet. That actually kind of goes in line with the Light philosophy anyway. They don't necessarily care about life itself, but they believe in one path, one way, and that is the way of the Light, hence the Light Blind. They don't see any other alternative. Now my speculation is that Lothraxion is not at all Light Blinded. He is literally just manipulating these fanatics to his bidding, to the bidding of the Natrazim and the realm of Revendreth. You guys know how crazy the Dread Lords actually are. They pretty much turned the noble paladin order of the Scarlet Crusade from just guys defending their kingdom to a crazy cult-like fanatical order. The Dread Lords took over the actual leader of the order, then mobilized the disenfranchised and desperate paladins by feeding into the fanatic elements, and then turning the Scarlet Crusade that are still a danger even up to this day. These guys, as I said, literally turned from just noble paladin order defending from the undead, defending their home, into a completely crazy and like disenfranchised fanatical order. So Lothraxion may be doing the same thing, but instead of the paladins, he may have recruited the fanatics of the Army of the Light, the ones that believe the light is the only way by any means necessary. We will get more info as the Midnight Alpha and Beta progresses, of course, but this storyline actually has a lot of potential. Not only might we learn about the true face of the Light, because if learned kinda that ages ago, that is definitely not all good, but it is not also all evil. Furthermore, this story point could be a thing that finally brings back the Natrius, and it may be a setup for the Natrius to fully return in The Last Titan, as we had speculated for years by this point, because his storyline was left as a cliffhanger. Keep in mind, the Natrius has multiple agents that could awaken. We know they actually infiltrated the Titans, so someone could be up there in Northrend. The Light agent has likely just been activated, and we learned in the Shadowlands that recently a Light agent has been acquired as well, this green-eyed agent that might play a role in this too. Keep in mind, we might have fought the Natrius in the Shadowlands, but in the end, the Natrazim had overwhelmed us, they helped him escape, and we were definitely completely outsmarted as he pretty much brought in all his agents from all over the place to save him. He's definitely always at least one step ahead of us, and I think he has more tricks up his sleeve that we are not even aware of yet. So crazy things are actually coming, it's only a matter of time until we learn what is actually going on. Thanks for watching. Check out what is the possible content from Age of Patches in Midnight by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on the Greek mythology that I've recorded live in the Italian mountains talking about the titans of the Greek mythology by also clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.